Welcome to stage 8 of the Tour de France and the first of the big mountain stages in the Alps. Still over 50 kilometers to ride, and the leading group has started the upper slopes of the Col de l'Iseron. We have a strong breakaway here with Jeff Cooper, Rodolfo Lucci, Giovanni Canale, Tyrus Tosh, Harold Skobko, Ludwig Kona, and the current leader of the polka dot jersey competition, Glenn Martins. So this is a nice, strong group, and they lead the peloton by over 7 minutes at the bottom of the Iseron. And with this distance between here and the finish, it's not out of the question that one of these 7 can win the stage. Go up and over this tough climb, and then the descent, the long valley road, and then we'll start the final climb to Lac du Mont-Cenis. The final climb to the finish actually tops out around 1.5 kilometers from the finish line, and it's not too severe, around 8 kilometers long, averaging 7.5%. So we'll see if this final mountain is actually tough enough to force big time gaps. So the Iseron might be the big obstacle on the day. And Kyoto know this because the team in the pink jerseys are riding at the front of the pack. You just saw Ibai Leida there, he's in 3rd place overall, not far behind his teammate Hippolyte Toutain, and Toutain still there in the yellow jersey. The big challengers to Kyoto in this Tour de France must be Euskaltel Euskadi. They have Rico Rudiger in 2nd place overall, and Jean-Marie Caillou is in 5th. And it seems that Caillou is the biggest challenger heading into this Tour de France, the winner of the Dauphiné and the Giro, and we'll see what Caillou can do in the Tour de France. Some riders being dropped from the breakaway here, so the non-climbers like Ludwig Kona and Glenn Martins, they have been shed out the back. Canale comes to the front now. He won a mountain stage from the breakaway in the Giro d'Italia, and almost got a breakaway stage win in the Dauphiné on another mountain stage. So Canale is at home in these breakaways in the mountains. He might try and contest these points for the King of the Mountains jersey. And this is a big chance for Rodolfo Lucci to reclaim that polka dot jersey. He lost it yesterday to Glenn Martins because Glenn Martins won that climb to Senno. Martins, however, not going to be here at the top of the Iseron. 3 survivors, that's Jeff Cooper, Lucci, and Canale. And Glenn Martins lost a lot of time here. He has nothing left to race for on this stage. He's just going to sit up and save his energy, do his best to get over the final mountains. It seems the numbers in the peloton have been reduced as well, just 51 riders still there. We had a pretty tough Category 2 climb early in the stage, the Col du Notre Dame du Pré, so it hasn't been easy up to this point. The Iseron we're climbing to the top of, the highest point in this year's Tour de France, over 2,700 meters in altitude. You can only climb this mountain pass by bike during the summer months, because otherwise it's covered in snow. So it's a good thing the Tour de France is in July, otherwise we couldn't use some of these mountain passes. We're inside the final kilometer of climbing here. Lucci and Cooper, the strongest on this mountain. Lucci's going to sprint for it. And it seems both riders are quite tired, although Jeff Cooper might still have something left, but he's not going to contest Lucci. He'll let Lucci have the points. So I wonder if Jeff Cooper is more interested in winning the stage. And sometimes in these breakaways, riders will have little gentlemen's agreements. There's one rider more concerned about winning the stage or moving up on GC, and another rider will want the points for the King of the Mountains. So they'll strike a deal to work together, and each rider gets what he wants. Some infamous examples of collusion in breakaways have occurred over the years, most notably in the Vuelta a España. I believe it was either 1987 or 1988, when the great Spanish climber Pedro Delgado was over 6 minutes behind Robert Miller on the final mountain stage of the Vuelta. And the Colombian and Spanish climbers attacked Robert Miller, the great Scottish climber who was the race leader. But Miller did not crack, and he was looking very strong. However, in the chaos of that stage, Pedro Delgado, who was many minutes behind, attacked, and nobody told Robert Miller that Pedro Delgado had gone up the road, and they rode too slow, and Delgado took several minutes and stole the Vuelta a España on the final stage. So that is a bit of a stain on the sport of cycling, especially in the nation of Spain. And Miller, now known as Philippa York, She was extremely upset and swore never to race in Spain again. So I don't think collusion like that happens nowadays, but the point being that some diplomacy happens in the peloton. So Lucci and Cooper are on the descent here, the valley road actually, heading into the valley of Sinise, and then will climb up towards the lake. 21 kilometers still to ride. They lead by 6 minutes and 45 seconds. The main field making progress in the valley, and this is where a breakaway can lose a lot of time, because Egon Callas is gunning it on this road here, and the breakaways, they can't afford to do something like this. They have to save their energy and dose their effort and work together. So that's the strength of having teammates in the group behind. They can ride all out like this. They're not saving themselves for anything else. And Egon Callas, who should have been an outsider for a high finish in this Tour de France, he's already lost several minutes from the opening mountain stage. He came in over 5 minutes down yesterday, so his GC ambitions are over. He's now just a super domestique. All the big favorites for the Tour de France in this group here, including the outsiders. So we'll see what kind of moves happen on the final climb. Oscar Galati's done a lot of work today. He's still on the front. The Swiss rider who was second in the Tour of Flanders. We're going through some of the breakaway groups now. The riders who are in no man's land. They're not at the front of the race, nor are they back in the peloton, nor are they in the groups behind. Just trying to stay away, enjoying their adventure in the Alps. Meanwhile, we've started the climb up to the Col du Mont Cenis, 9 kilometers averaging 7% gradient. Cooper leading the way with Lucci on the wheel. And I think these two still have a healthy time advantage over the peloton, so I'd say these two are the favorites to win the stage. But of course, after a long day in the breakaway, especially in the mountains, you can lose that advantage very, very quickly. Lucci, already a stage winner in this Tour de France. He won stage 2. He spent some time wearing the polka dot jersey as leader of the mountains classification. And I think he'll reclaim that polka dot jersey if he were to survive and get points today. Could also move up on GC. Lucci around 4 minutes down, I think, at the start of the stage. And he's going to launch an attack here with 5 kilometers to climb. Jeff Cooper struggling a little bit to hold his wheel, but he's managed to do it. And in the group behind, Manuel Navarre has tried his first attack. That didn't quite work, and AlphaTauri comes to the front now with Veloshkov and Sancho. And this AlphaTauri duo, they need to do some attacking and gain back time. As both Veloshkov and Sancho are several minutes behind on GC, they need to make use of these mountains here. Lucci attacks again. And Jeff Cooper once again just grappling to stay on that back wheel. Once again, he's managed to do it. These two continue to go up the mountain, and I wonder if these two will have a sprint at the end of the stage. Because the finish is a little bit of a flat road. You reach the top of the climb before the finish, and we're getting more attacks from the peloton. It's Pavlova this time. I think that's Ibai Lida of Kyoto who's chasing her down. Lucci has attacked a 3rd time on this climb. And I wonder if Jeff Cooper has what it takes to stay in his wheel. Cooper starting to look tired with 1K still to climb. Can Lucci just stretch the elastic and finally break away from the American climber? And he's going to do so. He's attacked a 4th time. And that's the attack that's broken Jeff Cooper. Luis Sancho attacking from the peloton. Lida just chasing it down with Tutin still there. In fact, the yellow jersey looks really good. Ling Shin, I saw Nello, I saw Caillou as well. We're inside the final kilometer, and Rodolfo Lucci, the strongest in the mountains today. From the breakaway, a tremendous victory, and is second in the Tour de France. He'll take the lead in the mountains classification as well. Jeff Cooper will take 2nd place, also from the break. Sancho attacking from the field to take 3rd. And look at the yellow jersey sprinting for 4th place. A show of force by Hippolyte Tutin today. It looked like nothing could bother him at all, and he leads the rest of the pack home. So that bodes ill will to the rest of the Tour de France, because the yellow jersey passed his first mounting test with flying colors. Ibai Lida, his teammate, was also there, so Lida will stay up on GC. The Euskaltel duo also there. Natalia had several riders in that group, including Kelvin Moore. So for the big hitters in the Tour de France, today was a bit of a wash. But Rodolfo Lucci got so much out of today, and Luis Sancho, starting his race back to the top of the leaderboard, took a few seconds there at the end. So let's unpack the stage placings here. Rodolfo Lucci of Natalia wins the stage, the 4th for that team in the first 8 days of the Tour de France, the 2nd for Lucci himself. He wins by 1 minute and 3 seconds ahead of Jeff Cooper of AlphaTauri. Luis Sancho, also of AlphaTauri, was 3rd place at 1 minute 32. And then there were some time gaps in the front groups of that peloton. Hippolyte Toutain led home the favorites at 1 minute 48 seconds. The same time as Yevgeny Balashkov, Ibai Lida, Chongling Shen, Manuel Navarro, and Su Mi Kim. Jean-Marie Caillou in 10th place lost 7 seconds to Toutain. Doesn't seem like a lot, but every second matters in the Tour de France. Caillou was in the same time as Kelvin Moore, Carlos Nello, Ileana Pavlova, Rico Rudiger, and Nicholas Vollenweider. And a few of the lesser climbers losing some time today. But we'll see how the general classification is affected. And no change at the very top, it's Hippolyte Toutain who remains the leader. His teammate Ibai Lida is now up to 2nd place at 16 seconds. Rudiger down to 3rd in the same time. Kelvin Moore stays 4th, Caillou stays 5th. He's now 33 seconds behind Toutain. Then Navarro, Nigel Moro still up there in 7th. Mario Mazziota, Chongling Shin, and Rodolfo Lucci up to 10th place after his breakaway today, just 2 minutes and 2 seconds behind. In fact, Natalia have a lot of riders up here. They have 4 in the top 13, because Josephine Udebaya is in 11th place, and Joaquin Pinto's in 13th. So that team making a play at the team classification as well, and they have options for GC for once. And the green jersey competition, Miroslav Kosha remains the leader, there's no change. And the mountains classification goes back to Rodolfo Lucci. He now has 32 points. That's 8 more than Jeff Cooper. And Luis Sancho has gotten some scoring in as well. Natalia, the new leaders in the team classification. They won the stage and took time with Lucci. They had other riders near the front of the pack. Euskaltel now 2nd, and Kyoto continuing to fall away. They're many minutes behind now. Sismic, Hackett, and Plemo all ahead of Kyoto. So of the 3 huge stages in the Alps, I'd say stage 8 on paper is the easiest. Stage 9 is going to be extremely hard. One of 3 big mountain top finishes in the Tour de France is tomorrow. The finish up to Rissoul after we climbed the Col du Galibier and the Col d'Izoard. A huge mountain stage that should be a real inflection point for the Tour de France. Hopefully we get a big sorting out of the big names. We had some other mountaintop finishes that disappointed a little bit until the final kilometers. So we'll see what we'll get and if the riders can make us a good race. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time for Stage 9.